Hi guys, how you all doing? Welcome back to Wentworth Life, the channel that talks all things Wentworth. If you're new to the channel, then hit that subscribe button right now for all future updates. And if you stick around until the end of the video, I will be responding to some of your comments from my previous videos. And if you'd like to check out my other YouTube channels or my other social media links, I will leave all the links underneath this video. I am soon going to be making a video talking about my life in a pandemic, which will be featured on my personal YouTube channel, and I think a lot of you will be able to relate to it. So I will leave all my links to my YouTube channels for you to check out later. Okay guys, so if you saw the video that I posted yesterday, then you would have seen a very small teaser showing Joan Ferguson with a very large knife that she pulls out from underneath her sleeve. She then runs across the yard in front of everyone and goes to stab someone. Let's just take a little look at that moment.
I'm having urges that I can't contain. I'm having urges that I can't contain. I'm having urges that I can't contain.
Wow, doesn't Joan Ferguson just look absolutely terrifying? Okay, so let's have a chat about with what's going on and who is Ferguson after. But first of all, I want to start with why. I mean, why is this even happening? Because by the end of last season, Ferguson was looking like that she might actually have a strong defense to take to court with her and get out of prison once and for all. Of course, that's when she did lose her memory and she'd taken on the persona of Kath Maxwell. And as we all know, Ferguson did get her memory back in those final few moments last year. Now, Ferguson is a clever woman. I mean, she's a total psycho, but she is smart. I reckon Ferguson is obviously going to continue to play the Kath Maxwell card when the season begins this year. And she is going to carry on faking her own memory in order to try and get acquitted. I mean, she has Dr. Miller on her side and he has given a very good and professional statement for Joan's defense. So even though Joan has got her memory back, her manipulating mind will kick into gear as she now realizes how close she is to freedom. But in order to do this, she has to continue playing the Kath Maxwell memory loss card. And the only problem is, can Joan keep up the act until her court date? I mean, Vera, she really pushed Joan around last year. I mean, she conspired with Ali to drug her drink in order to try and have her mask slip. She also threatened to kill Joan if she goes anywhere near the baby. Yes, in case you had forgotten, Vera did say that if Ferguson goes anywhere near her baby, then she will kill her herself. So Vera has been pushing at Joan to try and get her to drop the act, although at the time Joan wasn't acting. But of course, Vera didn't know that. I mean, the final line that Vera crossed was getting Linda to spitbag Ferguson and basically torture her. So Vera has been pushing and pushing, and of course Ferguson, or aka Kath at the time, basically she just took it all of last season. But now she has her memory back. I think this could be a lot more difficult for Joan Ferguson. I can't see Ferguson resisting a verbal showdown with Vera for too long. There is one particular character I think Joan will struggle with, and that is Lou Kelly. Lou probably pushed Joan around last year, and she even nearly made her eat her own goldfish. So Lou Kelly could be the one who pushes Ferguson too far. Anyway, in these photos that we saw in one of my last videos, I think this is taken from the episode where Joan, or aka Kath Maxwell, goes to court. So this scene here with Joan running to stab someone in the yard, I don't think this happens before this. The court episode is definitely going to come first. I had a theory in my last video that the story will only go one or two ways. Joan will be acquitted and walk out of the court giving Vera a deadly evil smile, or Joan's mask will slip in court. Now, I have a feeling that it's going to be the second option and her mask will slip. And I think this will happen due to whatever Vera has in this folder. Somebody is going to drop a bombshell in that court hearing, and I think that will be what causes Joan to lose it. And I mean, she will lose it in spectacular fashion. Remember in the kangaroo court scene when Ferguson was speaking to the women, but then she got a little bit carried away and started calling all the women stupid children and filthy pigs? Well, I think think something similar will happen in court, but minus the hanging scene. Okay, so far my theory on this is that Ferguson will lose it in court and everyone will realise that she has her memory back and be sent back to prison. Actually, Vera and a lot of the other people, they're probably going to think that Joan has been acting and faking a memory loss all along from the start. So what will this mean for Dr. Miller's future in Wentworth? I mean, will he be sacked, or will Vera take pity on him knowing how much of a master manipulator Joan really is? I don't think Dr. Miller will be sacked, but I do think he might meet a grisly end in Wentworth this year. I mean, let's face it, it's the final season. The writers wanted to be the biggest and shocking final season ever, so of course I think Dr. Miller won't just leave in his car. His storyline will definitely come to a brutal end. Anyway, back to Joan. So Joan will be returned to Wentworth, and the news of her faking her memory will spread through the prison like wildfire. But now, Ferguson really does not have anything left to lose at this stage. Her chance of freedom has been taken away. She will never ever get another chance again. Her only chance now is to escape, but of course Ferguson wanted to be set free through the legal channels. So I believe that Ferguson will now start her revenge plot against everyone who has wronged her, and I think she will definitely be starting with Vera, Will and Jake. So the fact that Ferguson now has nothing left to lose, let's go back to this scene. Okay, so just as Joan pulls out this knife, in the distance it looks like that she is looking at someone wearing those governor's pips. And of course, that is Will Jackson, unless, of course, Linda becomes governor halfway through this season. But looking closely, it looks like it is Will with the tattoos. So, is Ferguson about to kill Mr. Jackson in this scene? Well, there are a couple of theories on this one. Some are mine and some are from friends that I've been speaking to recently. So let's quickly start with mine. I reckon when Ferguson runs at Will in the yard, someone will scream and Mr. Jackson will turn around just at the last second and step out of the way or somehow throw Ferguson off him just in time. But I don't think this is going to stop Ferguson. Ferguson will get back up, and then I think we might be in for a big showdown in the yard between Joan and Will in front of everyone. Now, I think officers and maybe even some of the women will try to help, but Ferguson, with a massive knife, she'll probably threaten to kill anyone who tries to step in. So then we'll have Mr. Jackson and Ferguson basically circling each other in the yard. Ferguson will be getting ready to pounce while Mr. Jackson will be waiting to try and overpower her without trying to get injured. While this is all happening, Joan will be throwing insults about Gianna, and she will also shout at him saying things like, "You buried me alive," in front of everyone. But I think everyone in the yard will just take this as a pinch of salt and just think that Ferguson is totally nuts. But the sad thing about all of this is that I don't think this will be the moment that Will is going to be killed off. There is no way Foxtel would have released this small little snippet if it was going to be Mr. Jackson's final scene. I think someone will step in and try and help Mr. Jackson, but get caught in the crossfire. So, who could this be? Well, I have a strong feeling that it could be Linda Miles. If you remember last year, Linda always had her baton out and she had no issues with hitting the women to try and control them. In fact, Linda even did this to Joan last year during her acid trip. After the siege, Linda has toughened up and wants to keep the prisoners all in their place. So I think Linda will step in and try to stop Ferguson, but Ferguson will get the upper hand this time and kill Linda in front of everyone. But if it isn't Linda who gets killed, then I do have another theory, and I think it could even be Ruby Mitchell. Maybe Ruby will try and step in to help Will. I think maybe she will try and punch Joan with one of her right hooks, and then Joan will flip out and just basically stab Ruby to death. And then this of course will open up the rivalry fight scene that I think Joan and Rita will have by the end of the season. So I don't think this is going to be Will Jackson's death scene. I think someone else will get caught in the crossfire, either Ruby or Linda. I mean, Mr. Jackson could get injured trying to fight Joan off, but I don't think this is going to be his final moments. Another theory that someone told me about is that this might actually be a dream or a nightmare that Ferguson is having. If you listen to what Joan is saying in the background of this scene, she is saying that she is having urges that she can't contain. So this could actually be a scene from a nightmare that Joan is having. Personally, I don't really like this idea. I would rather this be a real big showdown between Ferguson and Will. And of course, there is another theory that Ferguson isn't actually going after the governor. Just because we see the governor's pips in the same direction that Ferguson is running to, doesn't mean that it's going to be Will on this occasion. It could be another officer like Vera or Jake. Now, I'm just putting this out there, but if Ferguson attacks or stabs or kills Vera, then I will not be happy. Protect Vera at all costs. I would personally love to see Vera kill Joan rather than Joan kill Vera, and then Vera can end up in Teal, but that's just my own personal opinion. And of course, there is the theory that Ferguson is actually going after one of the women and not an officer. Is she about to slice and dice one of the women? Who could it be? I mean, the only prisoners that have proper history with Joan is Ali and Boomer. Or it might even be Lou Kelly. Now, I could almost hear Michelle gasping while watching this. Which, by the way guys, be sure to check out Michelle's YouTube channel for even more Wentworth gossip, who also has a huge love for Lou Kelly. So Ferguson is going to be so dangerous this year. She has nothing left to lose and a ton of revenge that has been boiling away at her since the end of season 5. Just remember when Joan beat up a load of women in season 5 in the yard, well, now imagine that while she has a knife. It's going to be crazy, bloody and brutal, and I cannot wait to see it. So guys, let me know your thoughts. Who do you think Joan is going after with this knife? Do you think she will be successful at killing her target? Or do you think someone will get caught in the crossfire? Or do you think there could be multiple casualties? Let me know your thoughts in the comments box below. And on that subject, it's now time for some comment replies. So we have Stephen Patton. Be interesting to see how they can fit it all into the last episodes, so much to come. Yes Stephen, there is going to be so much. I mean, keep getting snippets from magazines here and there. Of course we've been having teasers recently being released. And it's like we've got Lou Kelly covered in blood. We've got a certain character being killed in episode 1. We've got Rita coming back. And of course we've got all this Joan Ferguson stuff. And let's not even forget about Sheila and Mari. So yeah, it's going to be full on this season. I mean, they're going to somehow squeeze it into 10 episodes. I don't know how they're going to do it. Personally, I'd love them to do like maybe 1 hour and a half episodes. But that's just wishful thinking. But thank you for your comment, Stephen. And we got Christopher James. I hope Vera does return as governor because Joan has yet to come for that shiny little crown. I think we'll finally see her make good on that promise. Yes, Christopher, 100%. I mean, if this is the moment when Ferguson goes after Will, then Vera is definitely going to be on the list. However, I got a feeling that she's going to do something worse to Vera, as in maybe escape and try and kidnap baby Grace. I think that would be probably worse than killing Vera, which will definitely be terrifying viewing for us who are watching. But yes, I think Vera definitely needs to watch her step. Thank you for your comment, Christopher. And we have Jordan Rochester. She's probably going to stab either Will, Vera, Jake, Miles or Lou. She must have remembered something as her memory is back, and now she's on a silent kill. It seems whoever she's about to attack doesn't even know it. Exciting. Yes, Jordan, I think that's what makes this scene that we've watched more terrifying, because Ferguson is looking brutal and she looking like she means business, and whoever she's going after does not even know what's coming, and that's what makes it more more terrifying. And I think what makes it even more scary as well is that Ferguson is willing to do this in the yard, in front of everyone. We can see women in the background. There's going to be officers there. She don't give a shit and is going to be insane. So thank you for your comment, Jordan. And we have Terry Weir. Hi Craig, I've never looked forward to a season of Wentworth more than this one. It's going to be insane. Bring it on. My prediction for final top dog is Rita. I also think that the clip of the freak with the knife could be her on her way to kill Jake. Well, yes, Terry. I mean, just because we've seen the governor's pips doesn't mean he's going to be the governor. I mean, if you remember, when we all thought that Vera got shot during the siege at the end of that episode, and then when the episode returned, it turned out to be Costa, could be something along those lines. And yes, I really want to see Rita as top dog as well. The only thing that worries me, though, is that somehow I feel their undercover cop days might come out. And I don't know how that is going to go down with the women. But thank you for your commentary. And thank you all for your comments. They have been coming through thick and fast recently. So keep it up, guys, as I love reading your theories on this final season. Okay, guys, well, if you're still here, then thank you all for sticking around until the end of the video. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, stay safe, and I'll see you all again very soon.